Okay. Just keep rolling. I'm gonna start rolling it off. What's going on, everybody? We're back here for another Garfield video. We're having a good old time. We're having a good old time. Welcome back, everyone. Here's a video about a cartoon movie. All right, roll the clip. Let's get it going. Pixar. It's a name that for many of you may be synonymous with childhood nostalgia. If you're my age, you might associate it with the first time you laughed at a movie, the first time you cried at a movie, first time you started to feel the buddings of your own sexuality as a result of a movie. The point is, Pixar movies hold a lot of sentimental value for a lot of people. It's almost like they had some sort of formula to their movies or subliminal messaging that just forced you to feel something by the end. Yeah, they didn't always get it right, but most of the time you could count on a sentimental movie that wraps everything up with a nice little message at the end.
So long, partner.
The question is, does Pixar still get it right? Sometimes. Even though I hold the opinion that Toy Story 4 is an utterly pointless film and is basically the same message as Toy Story 3, I can't deny that the ending where everyone dies is very emotional. But sometimes those emotional beats don't hit as hard, and they may even miss the mark entirely. And that, boys and girls, is the case with Onward. Onward is the latest Pixar movie to grace the silver screen, or should I say it's the first Pixar movie to be released digitally alongside its theatrical release as a result of the state of things. Get the out. It was one of the first in a wave of movies to go directly to streaming services in light of everything that's been going on. While I must say I'm all for the idea of being able to watch a movie in the comfort of my own home rather than endure the masses at a movie theater, I had no intention of watching this movie. I'm not sure if I've missed a Pixar movie up until this point, besides maybe Cars 3, which I've heard isn't too important. I heard I didn't miss much.
Oh, you know what I'd do?
What?
I don't know. I got nothing.
But I had planned on missing this one, and the reason is, I don't mean to get too real with you guys, but the premise of the movie, two brothers who lose their dad at a very young age. One of them's old enough to remember their dad, one of them's not. Not to say too much, but basically in that scenario, I'm the older brother. But I'll delve into that later. So knowing this much about the movie, I didn't plan on watching it. As I've established, I am familiar with Pixar's way of tugging at your heartstrings in a formulaic, almost hypnotic way. My 1-year-old daughter, however, had other plans when she not only figured out how to turn the TV on herself, but also get into the Prime Video app on the TV and purchase Onward, not rented, purchased Onward for $20. Well, Cameron, you can just cancel the order even if it's a digital purchase as long as you haven't watched the movie yet. You don't think that she immediately pressed the play button after purchasing the movie? I'm sorry, Cameron. In the future, you should set parental restrictions on your Prime Video account so this kind of thing doesn't happen again. Yeah, thank you, Amazon customer service bot. I really appreciate it. That was very helpful. Happy to help. Anyway. Can I help you with something else? No thank you. I'm good. Anyway, so as I was saying. Okay, great. So long story short. Have you tried Audible? No thank you, Amazon. No. There are aspects of your Amazon Prime membership that you're not taking advantage of. Try Amazon Music now. Shut up! So long story short, I ended up watching this movie a whole lot, and it was fine. It was just really forgettable. Like, none of the characters are particularly memorable other than what I can personally relate to, which isn't going to be enough for everyone. I'm sure this has already been said before as well, but it reminded me a lot of the movie Bright on Netflix. If you don't remember, it's the movie with Will Smith and Joel Edgerton as buddy cops. Basically, the premise is like, hey, remember Lord of the Rings? In this world, that happened, and nothing really changed about the future other than, they're like fairies in your front lawn and stuff.
Fairy lives don't matter today.
Onward's kind of like that. It says, yeah, magic was a thing, but we invented electricity, and everybody sort of gave up on magic, except for fucking nerds. And yes, the plot of the movie is centered around this fantastical scenario where these two brothers try to bring their dad back to life for a day. And they do, say some spells along the way, but they never really explore magic in an interesting way. There's not really a reason for them to be elves in this movie. No one really even needed to be non-human for the story to work. This is why movies like Bright and Onward are so boring, because when you put elves and mythical creatures in the real world, they just behave like normal people would. The non-human creatures or races are not what necessarily matter most about the fantasy setting. It's about what they do and where they are. You don't look at something like Rivendell from Lord of the Rings and say, wow, their ears are pointy. It's just weird to me that they would excommunicate these fantasy characters from their interesting fantasy setting. You can scroll down for me if you don't mind.
Shut up.
Now, I've watched this movie with my daughter more times than I could count, to the point where the movie isn't really a movie to me anymore. It's kind of the equivalent of when you hear a word or a phrase so much that it stops having meaning in your brain. You just hear gibberish. But honestly, that to me just makes my opinion that much more valid. Nevertheless, I'm not really trying to do a full review of this movie. I just wanted to provide my own unique perspective for what I have seen is a pretty positively received film. Now, you may still be saying to yourself, Cameron, I'm so glad you decided to make a video. You're super great and all your jokes are super funny. I'm real proud of you. But why this movie? Well, if the fact that my child spent $20 on it wasn't reason enough, I happen to take issue with the ending of this movie. So spoilers, I guess. Now, if you've seen the trailer for this movie, you pretty much know the story. No one saw that trailer and said, wow, two brothers try to bring back their dad for a day, but only bring back his legs, and they have to find a MacGuffin so that they can bring back the top half. I bet they're going to find it super quickly and then just spend the whole day with their papa. No, of course you didn't think that. You thought exactly what I thought. Oh, they're going to find it at the last second, and they're only going to get a few seconds with their dad. Or they're going to fail and then realize that the real dad was all the memories they made along the way. And I can confirm that what actually happens is basically both of those scenarios. So it ends with the main character, Ian, stopping a cursed dragon just in time for his older brother, Barley, to get a few seconds to have the goodbye that he never got to experience with his dad. That in and of itself is fine, but the problem comes with the reasoning for making this sacrifice, because Ian realizes that he doesn't need to meet his dad because he already had a father figure in his brother. You might think, well, that's sweet. It's nice that they have that relationship. And I'm inclined to agree. However, I think this sets unrealistic expectations for single-parent situations. The film is basically saying if you're an older sibling and you lose one of your parents, you pretty much have to assume all or half of the responsibility of a parent in your own younger sibling's development. Like, they don't explicitly say that in the movie, obviously, but that is what is implied. I guess this is really a niche thing to complain about, but I haven't seen anyone else say this, and I wanted to bring it to light because I know that if I saw this movie as a kid, it would have stressed me out. Like, hey, so you know how you're still growing up and learning what it means to be a person yourself? Well, now you have to worry about being a full-blown father figure to your younger sibling. And if you don't, then you're a bad person. What? My point is, this is a really unrealistic and frankly unhealthy scenario where the older brother has nothing really going on, so he focuses solely on his younger brother and Dungeons and Dragons. Obviously, there are certain responsibilities that you have to assume as an older sibling in situations like this, but to have that kind of pressure and expectation put on you and then have it reinforced by a movie made for kids is not something that I'm a fan of. And I'm not saying that as an older sibling you should just leave your younger sibling high and dry and only focus on yourself. There's a really thin line you have to specify with a message like this, and I think the movie just leaves it way too broad. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say with this video. Thanks for watching. Love your siblings, but also love yourself. Okay, bye!
This is good stuff.